There are mistakes, and then there are mistakes so expensive, they become business legends. In the year 2000, struggling to survive, Blockbuster was the undisputed king of movie rentals. With thousands of stores, millions of loyal customers, and billions in annual revenue. On paper, this wasn't a rivalry. It was a giant standing next to an ant.
Then Netflix approached Blockbuster with an idea. Not to compete, to work together.
According to accounts from Netflix's founders, they proposed selling Netflix to Blockbuster for around $50 million. The executives reportedly weren't interested. Whether they laughed or simply declined has become part of business folklore.
Today, Netflix is worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Blockbuster has been reduced to a single remaining store that survives mostly as a tourist attraction. This isn't just the story of Netflix beating Blockbuster. It's the story of how an entire industry ignored the future because the present was making too much money. And that's a...
For centuries, the horse was the change arrived slowly. Then all at once, just before cars became affordable. And in that moment, an era began to fade. So, how did the biggest name in home entertainment lose DVDs in red envelopes? This is Capital Files. Before streaming, Friday night meant one thing: going to Blockbuster. It wasn't just a video store. It was part of the weekend. At its peak, Blockbuster wasn't just renting movies. It had become part of American culture. More than 9,000 stores, millions of customers, billions in annual revenue. But behind all that success was one incredibly profitable habit.
Late fees. That will be $4.99.
The system annoyed customers, but it rewarded the business. Meanwhile, someone else was asking a different question. To almost everyone, Blockbuster looked impossible to beat. Sometimes, success makes change feel unnecessary. But hundreds of miles away, someone saw the industry differently. The future wasn't waiting. It was already being built. That company was Netflix. While everyone else built video stores, Netflix questioned whether people needed one at all. Even better, there were no late fees. Choose a movie online, and Netflix mailed it straight to your door. One monthly payment, and everyone won. Every decision started with one question: how can we make this easier for customers? But there was one problem. The startup still needed a way to grow. Their next stop could change everything.
Netflix offered a partnership and proposed a deal worth around $50 million.
Blockbuster passed on the proposal, and Netflix walked away. At the time, Blockbuster believed it didn't need Netflix. They were protecting the present, while Netflix was preparing for the future. One company returned to business as usual, the other returned determined to build the future. We are seeing record growth across all regions. Looking back, the answer seems obvious. Back then, it wasn't. The numbers look strong, but customer habits were already beginning to change. Their stores were their greatest strength, and eventually, their biggest weakness. Netflix wasn't building more stores, it was making them less necessary. The DVD was the product, but the internet was the future. Changing meant risking the business that was already making billions. The partnership never happened, so Netflix kept building alone. Netflix didn't need everyone. It just needed one satisfied customer at a time. Then something changed. Netflix was becoming impossible to ignore. Blockbuster finally responded, launching its own online DVD rental service. Both companies were online, but only one had been built for it from the beginning. The race wasn't about DVDs anymore. It was about who could adapt first. Then the internet got faster, and everything changed. For years, movies traveled by mail. Now, they could travel through the internet. Instantly. Streaming wasn't ready for everyone, but Netflix believed it soon would be. Then broadband caught up, and Netflix was ready.
Why drive to rent a movie when it could come to you instantly?
Slowly, fewer people walked through the doors because more stayed home. Every empty aisle still had a cost, and those costs never stopped. As revenue slowed, every decision became more difficult. The biggest change wasn't the technology, it was people's habits. By then, Netflix had a head start, and momentum is hard to catch. People stopped asking which store to visit. Why visit one at all? Then came the hardest decision, closing stores that once seemed untouchable. Thousands of stores became hundreds, until only one remained. Blockbuster didn't lose overnight. It lost one decision at a time. Success can become a trap when you're afraid to replace it. Every new idea asks one question: what are you willing to leave behind? The strongest companies don't wait for change. They create it themselves. The smaller company moved faster because it carried less weight. Changing direction sounds simple, till thousands of stores depend on today's business. While others protected the present, Netflix kept building the future. Markets never stand still, and neither can the companies inside them. Then came something Blockbuster couldn't control: consumer behavior. People discovered they liked pressing one button instead of driving to a store. No parking, no queues, no return dates, no late fees. Convenience wasn't just winning, it was becoming an expectation. By the time Blockbuster realized what business it was really in, it was already too late. On September 23, 2010, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. Just a decade earlier, that outcome would have sounded impossible. Thousands of stores, millions of customers, one of the most recognizable brands in America. And yet, store after store closed its doors. The bright blue signs came down. The shelves emptied. Today, only one independently operated Blockbuster store remains. Not as the center of a global business empire. Imagine becoming so famous for disappearing that people buy souvenirs to remember you. Business can be wonderfully ironic. Meanwhile, Netflix wasn't just surviving, it was reinventing itself again. First, it changed how people rented movies. Then, it changed how people watched them. And eventually, it changed how movies and television were made. Not because it predicted every change perfectly, but because it kept changing, again and again and again. People often say Netflix destroyed Blockbuster, but that's only half the story. Netflix simply built something better.
Blockbuster's real competitor wasn't Netflix. It was its own unwillingness to let go of a business model that had once made it successful.
Blockbuster's story isn't unique. History is full of companies that dominated their industries, until the industry changed. Blockbuster owned movie rentals, different companies, different decades. The same mistake.
Technology never stops moving. Horse-drawn carriages became automobiles, newspapers became smartphones, DVDs became streaming.
The biggest threat to a successful business isn't always a competitor. Sometimes, because success creates confidence. Confidence creates comfort, and comfort can quietly become resistance to change. Business has a strange sense of humor. The thing that makes you successful today can become the reason you're obsolete tomorrow. It's like winning a race, then refusing to leave the finish line because you're already in first place. Netflix wasn't perfect. It made mistakes. It faced fierce competition. But one thing remained constant. It kept adapting. That's what separated it from Blockbuster. Not intelligence, not luck, adaptability. Today, the last Blockbuster isn't just a store. No matter how large, no matter how profitable, every market changes. Every leader eventually faces the same question. Will you build the future? I'm Patrick, and this is Capital Files, because the next billion-dollar lesson is already being written.